One second film that came out recently. It's Darren Aronofsky's Caught Stealing, starring the very new Austin Butler, Regina King, and Zoe Kravitz. Um, it's a throwback crime thriller. I mean, there's elements of comedy and dread. Uh, Austin Butler plays Hank Thompson. I'm just getting some details up here. Who gets embroiled in a crime plot with some really, really serious criminals. And he haphazardly fumbles around the film trying to resolve it. So, in that regard, it's very watchable. There's lots of twists and turns for you to follow, and Darren Aronofsky makes great use of a very, very dynamic camera. There's also really manufactured sets, like it was 40 or 50 million euros spent on it. So when he shoots on New York, the streets he's shooting on, he has complete control over. So there's extras walking by, all a little manicured, but it befits the kind of film it is. Some of the background characters were really interesting, and Regina King was really good as the cop. And it's plotted by some side characters, the best of which is Matt Smith, as an English punk rocker who's fantastic, and a little Russian gangster who's the smaller of the two goons, if you will, who's really agile in his movement, and he just seemed to make it interesting in a weird comic way. Um, Austin Butler's in third gear on his way to being a really, really big star. This is a really, really solid film. He's seeking out big directors. He's got the movie star good looks. He's promoting himself, and it's really worth watching. Zoe Kravitz is absolutely sexier in this than she was in Batman. Probably because she gets down to her underwear, but there's a purpose for that. They don't want you to forget her, and there's just something very girlfriendish about her. She seems very accessible, although she's not. Like, she's friends with Taylor Swift and things. She's a massive star, and that was fine. It's all part of the kind of escapism. Um, he uses a lot of drone shots as well, which were great in and around the kind of working class Brooklyn suburb. It's set in the 90s, so it's not littered with phones. Um, Everybody's a really boisterous and free character. There's even some haciendic Jews that show up, played by some familiar faces that are worth watching. Um, it's not his best film, but it's kind of workmanlike. Really, really enjoyable. I also watched The Whale recently, which I'll be rewatching and doing a review on. I thought was fabulous. In its own singular kind of way. It was just a mixture. Like, there's a kind of a patient power to Darren Aronofsky's films. Like, I think he struggled in areas here, kind of in how he managed scenes with lots of actors. He usually uses a thin narrative with a really powerful psychological and emotional drive. That's generally the meat of his stories. The characters are overwhelmingly compared to their goals or their desires, be it self-destructive or not. And they make for great characters, but because Austin Butler's character is kind of overwhelmed, he's changing more locations than I think he ever has before, even though he has worked on a grand scale. This was a little different for him, but he might be heading in a little different direction now. I think he's 50. A lot of that kind of youthful passion, the chaos of Black Swan and The Wrestler and the intellectual grandeur of The Fountain, Our Mother, might be out of him. I know he has a film about it's a courtroom drama about an AI vehicle that killed someone. I think now that would be something that would be really, really interesting. Kind of a mixture both of lots of scenes, lots of actors, and a very serious subject. Um, it's a really good film, worth watching. Friday night, Sunday afternoon. It's good. Like and subscribe. Comment below if you disagree with anything or you want me to check out something.